What up, everybody? Before I get into the 10 clues that Lou Thomas is Ghost's father, there's a couple things that would have to happen to make this work I want to mention first. First being that Marvin would have to be Ghost's uncle, Gabe, who showed up in Power and in Book 2. Whether this is done by retconning his name so it wouldn't spoil the storyline, or by Marvin changing his name at some point because of problems with the Italian mafia. Because of that, Marvin might take on a new identity and start going by the name Gabe. Keeping in mind that his daughter, Jukebox Laverne Thomas, definitely has a name change at some point, because in Power, her name was Officer Laverne Ganner. Second, Lou would just be finding out that he has a son some point on the current timeline. It would have been a situation where he got a girl pregnant around 1980 when he was still in high school, but never knew because after she got pregnant, her parents sent her away, like what happened when Monet got pregnant with Zeke. Then the mother would have later returned to New York, but never telling Lou that James was his son up until this point. This would be why Ghost has the last name of St. Patrick and not Thomas, because he goes by his mother's last name and not his father's. Then Ghost's bad behavior would have became too much for his mother to handle, and she would drop him off for Lou to raise and then leave town like what Kenya did. And this is why Tommy told Ghost in Power that he had no mom. And the third isn't guaranteed because it could go either way, and that's the fact that Lou tries to keep James a secret from the rest of the family because he doesn't want to condition him to get into the drug game. Keep it in mind, even Kanan is in the drug game at this point. And this would be why James and Kanan and Jukebox never mentioned being cousins. Either though I think there's a chance that they did know they were cousins, and that's why Sean called Ghost Uncle G. But if they didn't know they were cousins, that would mean Marvin was the only family member who knew about Lou's son. And as far as them being cousins and trying to kill each other, all that goes out the window when your cousin snitches on you and sends you to prison for 10 years. Then also keep in mind what the original season 4 teaser said. It said, before you can figure out where you're going, you gotta look back at where you've been. There's things that happen that seems like they didn't mean nothing at the time, but then you realize they mean everything. Part of this could definitely be talking about Lou finding out he has a son. Keeping in mind that Power has a history of these type of storylines. Finding out that Howard was Kanan's real father and not DEFCON. In Book 2, finding out that Mecca and Monet were Zeke's real parents. In Power, Tommy finding out that Tony Teresi was his father. And then in Power Book 4, Tommy finding out he had a long-lost brother, JP. Getting me to the 10 clues that Lou Thomas is Ghost's father. Clue number 1, Ghost's father was a drunk. In the same conversation that Tommy said Ghost had no mom, he also said that Ghost had a drunk for a dad. And we know that Lou Thomas is also a drunk, considering he was last seen in rehab at the end of season 3. And even though he will come out clean for a while, one of the exclusive images shows him at a bar with a drink. So it will only be a matter of time until Lou picks up the bottle again, probably after the next person he kills in rage. Getting me to clue number 2, and that is Ghost and Lou both have violent tempers. We saw Ghost lose his temper over and over again in Power. For example, when he was about to choke out Councilman Tate in front of everybody at Truth. And Lou also has a violent temper himself, like when he lost his temper and killed Crown Camacho. And also going along with both of them having violent tempers, Ghost used to always pin Tariq up against the wall. Lou lost his temper and did the same thing to Crown Camacho. And this is kind of a bonus clue. I wouldn't really consider it an additional clue because it kind of goes along with their tempers. And that's that they both have anger/jealousy issues when it comes to the woman they're involved with. Keeping in mind, Ghost killed Terry Silver after hooking up with Tasha. And part of the reason why Lou killed Crown was because he hooked up with Jessica. And Lou also put a pistol in DJ Mo's mouth for saying something forward to Ziza. Clue number 3 is that Ghost's father owned a club in Manhattan. This is part of the reason why Ghost was inspired to open up Club Truth. And he was speaking to his dead father in episode 1, saying that his boy did it, talking about opening up that club. And right now, Lou is currently half owner of Club View, and Club View is a nightclub in Manhattan. In season 3, the whole Thomas family called Club View Lou's Club. Ghost told Angela that his father lost the club before they met, which was in 1994. But he could have also been talking about his father lost the club before he met his father. Clue number 4 is that they both wanted out the drug game. Tommy told Ruiz that going from corner boys to having the biggest shop in New York City wasn't about being gangsters. It was all about Ghost finding another way to get out. And the entire Power series was basically Ghost's desperate struggle to find a way out of the drug game. And ever since Lou put down D-Wiz in episode 2, he's also wanted out the game. And another clue that goes right along with clue number 4 is the fact that Ghost's father used to preach to him about drug dealers, saying they either end up dead or in prison. And we've already seen Lou preaching to Kanan a couple times, trying to convince him not to get into that kind of work. Clue number 5 comes from season 4 Power Book 2 Ghost, after Diana killed Officer Felicia Lewis, and her son came to the steps when Tariq made up the name to tell the kid. He told the kid his name was Officer Thomas. This was definitely a Lou Thomas Easter egg, because even though Ghost has his mother's last name, at the end of the day, both James and Tariq are Thomases, if in fact Lou is Ghost's father. Clue number 6 is the fact they both have hallucinations, so hallucination runs in the family. Ghost used to have hallucinations of both Raina and Angela, and Lou started having hallucinations in season 3, seeing D-Wiz and Scrappy. Clue number 7 is the fact that Lou had jazz posters hung up in his apartment, and Gabe also had jazz posters hung up around the bar he owned that became the QCP. And also going back to clue number 3 about the club Ghost's father owned, it was a jazz club he owned in Manhattan, and Club View is also a jazz club. Clue number 8 also comes from Lou's apartment. When Marvin and Lou's landlord went into Lou's apartment, it was trashed because he had been drunk for so long and hadn't cleaned up. But one thing I noticed is that he had bookshelves with several books. Keep it in mind it was said about Ghost that he kept his nose in the books and that he was a bookworm. So Ghost either got his liking from reading from Lou, or he might start reading books when he moves in with Lou. Clue number 9 is that James used to be a rapper when he was a kid. Him and Tommy used to have a rap group called JSP and DJ Tommy Tom. And we know that Lou has a passion for music and is currently in the music industry. Lou might have encouraged Ghost and Tommy to start a rap group as a way to try to keep them out of the streets. And the final clue, clue number 10, is the strip mall, Southside Plaza, that Rock purchased in season 3. Because after Ghost's father lost his jazz club in Manhattan, he became owner of the bar that became the QCP that Ghost went to in season 6. Because it wasn't just a bar, Ghost asked Gabe if he still owned the whole building. So I think once Lou lost his club in Manhattan, Rock gave Lou the strip mall because she never really wanted too much to do with it anyway. Not to mention, we also have to ask the question, if Ghost's father wasn't Lou and he wasn't a drug dealer, how would if he had the money to buy a club in Manhattan and purchase an entire strip mall or building in Queens? So you mean to tell me a drunk who wasn't in the drug game was able to save enough money to buy a club in Manhattan and a building in Queens? He must have really been drinking the cheap shit like Lou told the feds in season 3. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.